Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I am here today, Professor Piscean, to talk about two very amazing, wonderful, locked-in spiritual beings that we have in the spirituality community. We are talking about Acacea Lewis, who is an artist, explorer, lecturer, researcher, traveler, divine master of alchemy, spirituality, psychedelic journeys. And I will also be talking about Kilindi Liai, who unfortunately did pass away, but he was also very big in the spirituality community, big on psilocybin usage, magic mushrooms, and tripping. And what that does is it unlocks not only your third eye, but it brings you to such an alternative state of consciousness that when you return to sobriety, in my opinion, you will never be the same. Okay? Whether that's for better or for worse, it depends on your character. But anyways, let's get into this field report on Acacea Lewis and Kilindi Liai. The postmodern esoteric landscape. The digital age has birthed a new archetype, the esoteric public intellectual. Unlike traditional gurus or cloistered academics, these individuals operate within the meme space of YouTube, a realm governed by algorithms, collective unconscious projections, and rapid, decentralized discourse. Their chair is the channel. Their peer review is the comment section. Astrologically, this phenomenon is ruled by Uranus and Gemini, digital innovation and communication, square Neptune and Pisces, dissolution of boundaries, spiritual fog, and finds its exaltation in the 11th house, networks, collective ideals. Methodological framework. Our analysis employs triadical synthesis, fusion of traditional Hellenistic and medieval techniques, sect, almutin, annual perfections, with modern outer planetary and hypothetical point theory. Mundane astrology, reading individual charts as microcosms of the collective shifts they discuss. Philosophical correlation, mapping astrological signatures to explicit and implicit philosophical stances. Predictive layering, superimposing secondary progressions, solar arc directions, and transits of the great coronal craters, Saturn, Jupiter, Pluto, onto natal frameworks. Part 2, we're going to have a focused analysis on Acacea Lewis. Astrological profile and philosophical architecture. Presumed signature. A likely strong Scorpio, Pluto, 8th house emphasis, with significant Aquarian, Uranian, and Sagittarian, Jupiterian overlays. This suggests a mind oriented toward uncovering hidden truths, Scorpio, structuring them into liberating systemic frameworks, Aquarius, and disseminating them as philosophical gospel, Sagittarius. Philosophical stance. Structured liberation. Lewis's work posits a universe of discoverable, often mathematical or systematic spiritual laws. Her focus on topics like the gene keys, Jupiter and its exaltation, seeking meaning, and advanced human potential, Uranus conjunct the Sun, midheaven, reflects a neo-Gnostic worldview. The material world is a code to be deciphered, and consciousness is the decryption key. This is a Mercury mind in service to Jupiter, expansive truth, and Uranus, awakening configuration. Predictive and prophetic axes. Her prophecies are less about specific events and more about the emergence of new cognitive paradigms. She maps cycles of collective initiation. A key predictive marker in such a chart would be transits of Pluto and Uranus to the natal Mercury and Jupiter. These periods would correlate with breakthroughs in her conceptual models, potentially times when her downloads feel most urgent and coherent. For example, Pluto transiting her third house, communication, could have marked a deep, irreversible transformation in her mode of thought and teaching, leading to her most seminal work. The role of Saturn. Her ability to structure esoteric data suggests a well-aspected Saturn, perhaps in an air sign. This provides the container for the Neptunian Piscean influx of spiritual information, preventing mere mysticism and enabling teachable doctrine. Field Theorist Report on Lewis. Lewis operates as a transducer for archetypal Aquarius. Her channel is a lecture hall for the coming age. The content is not merely informative, it is inoculative. She prepares her audience's psychic immune systems, Scorpio, for the shock of the new Uranus. Her prophecies are blueprints for psychic evolution. Watch for her influence to peak during major Saturn-Uranus aspects, as she embodies the tension between structure and revolution. Part 3. Focused analysis on Kilindi Ai. Astrological profile and philosophical architecture. Presumed signature. Overwhelming emphasis on Sagittarius, Jupiter, 9th house, and Aries, Mars, 1st house. A strong Pluto contact is likely, with a possible Saturn in Capricorn grounding a expansive, fiery nature. This is the chart of a philosopher warrior. Philosophical stance. The primordial quest. Ai's philosophy is one of recovery and return. His focus on pre-colonial African history, hyper-diffusionist theories, and advanced ancient civilizations is a quintessential 9th house. Search for higher meaning, foreign lands, philosophy, pursuit. His martial arts focus channels this through the 1st house, the embodied self, assertion. He embodies the Jupiter-Mars conjunction, the quest, Jupiter, pursued with fierce, disciplined energy, Mars. This is a mytho-historical worldview, seeing the present as a fallen age from a grander, more knowledgeable past. Predictive and prophetic axes. His prophecies often concern cyclical returns of knowledge and cataclysm. He speaks of grand, yuga-like cycles, governed by Jupiter, Saturn, Pluto conjunctions in watery signs, indicative of epochal shifts. A key signature would be Pluto transiting the 9th house or aspecting natal Jupiter. This could correlate with a profound, possibly disruptive expansion of his philosophical worldview, or a crisis of faith in his sources. Nodal transits to his Mercury, likely in a fire sign, would mark periods of being a crucial voice, North Node, Rahu, or confronting deep-seated intellectual challenges, South Node, Ketu. The role of Neptune. His work navigates the thin line between inspired vision and speculative history. A prominent Neptune, perhaps in Sagittarius, would provide the visionary connective tissue, but its challenging aspects could indicate areas where the signal of truth is most vulnerable to noise. Field Theorist Report on Ai. Ai functions as a cultural memory bank and an initiator. His discourse is not about creating a new future, but about remembering a primordial past so potent it reorders the present. He is a Mars to Lewis's Uranus. Where she systematizes the future, he revives the past. His prophetic utterances are often warnings. If we do not remember who we were, we cannot become who we are meant to be. His chart is a map of the quest. So guess whose phone battery just died in the middle of making my video about Lewis and Ai. So there will be a part 2 now that my phone is on the charger. So as I was saying here about Ai, we're just going to start over with the Field Theorist Report where I left off. So the Ai functions as a cultural memory bank and initiator. His discourse is not about creating a new future, but about remembering a primordial past so potent it reorders the present. He is a Mars to Lewis's Uranus, where she systematizes the future, he revives the past. His prophetic utterances are often warnings. If we do not remember who we were, we cannot become who we are meant to be. His chart is a map of the quest, and his life is its enactment. Transits of Saturn to his sun or Jupiter would test the very foundations of his philosophy, forcing either a crystallization or a fundamental revision. Synthesis and collective field theory. The dialectic of time. Lewis and IE represent the two poles of esoteric thought in the postmodern digital agora. Lewis, the future anterior. She speaks of what will have been, a future so advanced it explains our present as a prelude. Her astrology is projective and evolutionary. I.e., the past anterior. He speaks of what had already been, a past so advanced it renders our present a decline. His historical spiritualism is recuperative and primordial. Astrological correlation. This is the axis of Sagittarius, i.e.'s quest for the past truth, and Aquarius, Lewis's blueprint for the future truth, both seeking an ultimate liberating knowledge, Jupiter. The prophetic function in algorithmic culture. Their prophecies are best understood not as literal event prediction, but as semiotic seeds planted in the collective unconscious of their audience. In an age of data overload, Mercury overwhelmed, they offer narrative coherence. Lewis offers coherence through system, a code to live by. IE offered coherence through origin, a story to come from. Their YouTube platforms amplify this through the Neptunian medium of video, which bypasses pure logic to create felt understanding. Predictive cartography for the collective audience. The audience drawn to Lewis is likely experiencing Uranus transits to personal planets or angles, seeking liberation and a new mental framework. The audience drawn to IE was likely experiencing Pluto transits to the 9th house, or Jupiter undergoing a deep crisis, transformation of belief, or Saturn transits demanding a more disciplined, rigorous foundation for their worldview. The collective phenomenon of their popularity is a symptom of the Pluto and Sagittarius generation, 1995 to 2008, coming of age and demanding a truth that is both expansive and transformative, and the Aquarius North Node calling for a radical restructuring of community and knowledge. Conclusion from the Institute. Acacea Lewis and Kilindi are not merely YouTubers. They are living astrological functions in the early 21st century psyche. Lewis manifests the Promethean Uranian function, stealing the fire of future consciousness to illuminate the now. Lai manifested the Jupiter-Mars function, the warrior philosopher reclaiming the lost territories of history and self. Their work, analyzed through advanced astrological and philosophical lenses, provides a critical map of the contemporary soul's struggle for meaning, caught between an idealized past and a potentialized future, using the tools of the digital present to forge a new, yet ancient, path to understanding.